Hey everybody, and welcome to Talk Chain, the podcast where we get into all things crypto. Today we're going to give an update on the BitGrail situation, the disastrous BitGrail situation, might I add. We are also going to talk about the booming crypto insurance market that is poised to grow substantially in the next few years. Bobby, how you doing today, bud?
I'm doing pretty good, man.
That's good. So looking at the markets today, we have a market cap total that is just over 400 billion, with a bit of a stall in the pump we had a little while ago. The last 24 hours, it seems like it's been going all over the place, and the market's trying to decide right now which direction it's going to go. And that's certainly what I feel about Bitcoin. So yesterday I talked about how I have these two intersecting lines that are coming up to a consolidation point, which we have right now. And it's kind of fighting on whether or not it's going to go bullish or head back down bearish. And I could not tell you what it's going to do. Bob, I don't know if you have a prediction, but it seems like we're sort of figuring out if the buyers are going to come in or the sellers are just going to keep pushing this price down towards the $6,000 mark.
Yeah, I don't have a prediction. I'm just glad that it's kind of staying steady more than anything. Just like I'm tired of having to look to see if it's like down 20% or up 30%. Just seeing it act normal is and stable is pretty comforting.
Yeah, it's kind of quaint, that just deciding to do that now. Just, we can sleep at night and wake up and not see 20% lost on all of our investment.
Yeah, just be devastated. All the memes that get created,
Yeah.
it's devastating.
All right, so let's get into the BitGrail disaster. So I don't know if Rob, you have anything to add from my video yesterday. I pretty much just laid out what the timeline was in this clown's actions from December of last year, and brought up how you and I brought up how he was being kind of shady and asking people for extra verification, and then the verification would take forever, so people couldn't actually get their money out for a long time. And then yesterday or 2 days ago, they dropped the bomb that $170 million worth of BitGrail, no, not of BitGrail, of Nano or XRB were stolen or lost.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It looks like I forget the creator's name, and he goes by Bomber9 on Reddit. It looks like that he knew well before this was actually announced that these coins had gone like missing, I guess, or had somehow disappeared. And credit to the people who actually investigate this stuff. The DK Master Playa on Reddit did some serious investigating on this and like discovered that Mercatox and BitGrail were both sending like millions of nano to the same address, which I don't know, it kind of blows my mind. I don't really know what you think about that.
So this is sort of an update. I didn't see this until after I uploaded my video yesterday, but there's been a few posts on Reddit that are sort of, some of them are very much speculative, and they're presuming that Francesco, the CEO, is actually guilty, and he was the one committing all this fraud, and we don't really know yet. So before everybody gets at their pitchforks, I think we should make sure that there's evidence, and this is sort of more evidence that there's some suspicious stuff going on, and I don't really know what to make of it. It's millions of XRB being sent to a wallet address, and it's supposed to be his cold wallet address. Like,
well, and it's while the withdrawals are paused by BitGrail, so it's pretty suspect. And yeah, I don't know. It's worse that he did stop all these withdrawals. It just shows that he might have known that there was an issue and wanted people to not immediately pull out all of their nano because there wasn't enough to pay everybody back.
yeah, so that if he knew that this hack had happened and that was his sort of way to sweep it under the rug, then he's definitely guilty of something. But we don't really know if he knew and if that's what the reason was. It makes sense and it explains a lot of his shady behavior the last 2 months, but we don't necessarily know. And so yeah, I don't know. Like if withdrawals were unavailable, then wouldn't Mercatox also be involved in this in some way?
Well, I think it means that they kind of were involved in it in some way. So I don't know. I think the pitchforks are out. They've been out for they've been out since the withdrawal issue happened, and because other exchanges seem to not have much of an issue with withdrawals. So and it's all just like pretty convenient that they all kind of disappear after him acting so weird. And yeah, people just kind of saw the writing on the wall with something going on.
Yeah, they did, but if you had a ton of cash in there and you didn't take it out, you really got screwed. And there was personally, I this wasn't enough. Well, I did take out all my BitGrail. Oh my God, why do I keep calling it BitGrail? I took out all my XRB from BitGrail, I think in November. But all of this, if I had had a lot in there, I might have just kept it in there because I was lazy. But the more that the suspicious stuff went on, it would have been smart for people to at least take out some of it to another exchange, given that KuCoin has had it for a while now, and Binance had it for 2 weeks or so on their exchange.
It's tough. It's tough to know who to trust. I'm sure 3 months ago, people might not have put any money on KuCoin because they didn't necessarily trust some brand new exchange. But they seem to be doing pretty well. Like they've put out a statement regarding the issue, and Binance has as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's at least they're trying to keep communication lines open. And unfortunately, Mercatox has not done or mentioned anything about it, which would seem like something smart for them to do.
Yeah, it seems like Mercatox has to answer for this, because if they had announced that withdrawals were frozen and this went on, something shady there. And especially if it's the address that's had withdrawals from BitGrail as well, it just seems super shady. And I don't know any details about Mercatox. If like, do you know what country their exchange is from?
No, you know what? I actually have no idea.
Like, I wonder if these people are at all involved with if the bombers company at all, or whatever.
Yeah, no, I think if that is the case, it will come out a little later. I don't think it's anything that's well known at this point.
Yeah.
But I know that like Ryblox or Nano were probably one of the number one reasons for Mercatox's existence as well. Or why it was so successful when no one else really had it on their platforms.
Oh, really? Interesting.
So it could be, yeah, it could just be that they're friends, or you never really know.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see how the story unfolds, and hopefully we get some answers from all of these people, because it's a real blow to the entire crypto market if people can't trust these companies to hold their funds and keep them safe.
Definitely. But that's why we have this new budding insurance market, this crypto insurance market that what is this? That CCN was talking about. It's going to be interesting to see how this all unfolds. So what people are basically doing, or what insurance companies are doing, are insuring against hacks of exchanges, which seems like a risky thing for insurance companies to do, but a really smart thing for exchanges to do, because I think it really outlies security of the exchanges. If I know that my funds will be 100% reimbursed or some percent reimbursed if a hack happens, versus another exchange where that's not necessarily the case, it just gives me slightly more confidence in that exchange.
Yeah, and if there's been no better time to talk about this, like 2017 and 2018, so far we've had a ton of disasters relating to hacks of exchanges. So for any exchange to not have any sort of insurance at this point seems negligent, because it just doesn't seem like the security is up to par right now to actually protect people from getting their exchanges hacked.
It's definitely not, but it's tough because you have people that really their entire purpose is to find a way to hack these exchanges and steal some money.
Yeah.
So if people just kind of work nonstop, it causes whatever the exchange is to have a dedicated team who are going to work nonstop to prevent it from happening. So it's going to be interesting. The biggest issue, in my professional opinion, is going to be the cost of actually insuring this. So Coinbase has a policy with Lloyd's of London, which covers 2% of the coins on the exchange, which 2% is not a great amount. So I'm not sure how that would even break down. Like, would it be some of the biggest holders, or would it be unanimously everybody is insured for 2%? But
yeah,
the cost of that policy must be outrageous. I would really love to know. The insurance nerd in me would love to know.
Yeah, definitely. And it almost seems like, why bother if only 2% are being covered? But I guess if you've got a massive amount of coins, then it makes sense. But it just doesn't seem like it's worth it. But it could be just because the cost is so insanely high right now to insure these coins, that they could only afford to cover 2% of them in case of a hack.
Yeah, well, if you look at like the Coinbase's homepage, it's like 50 billion in digital currency is exchanged on there. So
yeah, that's a lot.
2% isn't, it's not chump change.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
To have the entire thing covered, like I don't know if it's the biggest exchange. I'm sure it's definitely in the top like 2 or 3 though. It would be like outrageous, the cost. So I'm sure Coinbase could afford it, but it's whether or not they think that their security is at risk enough for them to justify paying the premium on 100% of it.
Yeah, definitely. And hopefully if more players get into this market, it seems like it's not, there's not a ton of different insurance companies that are in here yet, but once they start seeing all the money that can be made on these premiums, maybe more insurance companies will come in and make the cost go down.
Well, little known fact, Lloyd's of London is the world's first insurance company. So that is why they're usually market movers with these sorts of things. And they're willing to take on riskier matters. So they have quite a diverse range. So, fun fact, they are the company that insured J-Lo's ass when she was very famous, just in case somebody decided to cut it off. It's probably Kim Kardashian's in there too. There's like famous guitarists' hands are insured. These
Jesus.
guys cover some pretty important stuff.
That's ridiculous. I always thought that was a joke. I didn't know that was real.
No, it's definitely a real thing.
Wow.
I think it was like Eric Clapton's hands were insured. Yeah.
Jesus.
So these guys have they do more specialty stuff, obviously, but they're willing to just kind of adapt into it. And the premiums for these sorts of things are very, very expensive, and that's because they will be kind of the testing ground for the data that other insurance companies will use before deciding to adopt it.
Right.
So it'll be interesting, and more people will get involved once they decide a price point. And there's also the fluctuation of price that is going to be a significant issue, because if this policy starts when Bitcoin is $500 and it goes all the way up to 18,000, it's either severely underpriced or severely overpriced, depending on when that policy gets started. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes, and that's probably priced in there now that it's pumped so high, even though it's come down quite a bit. So
yeah, I feel like that's going to be one of the toughest things for the industry to figure out. And I wonder if it's really just going to be that they have to do like a monthly reevaluation of the risk reward kind of thing. That if Bitcoin was at 15,000 in January and it's now it's at like 7,000, it's lost half its value in a month. If the premiums or the whole value of the policy is now in half. But that seems like a lot of work for insurance companies to have to deal with that.
Well, I imagine the people involved are probably pretty high up, and they have some plan involved for when this
Mm-hmm.
all goes down. So
Yeah.
it's going to be good. At the end of the day, I can only imagine Lloyd's of London has taken a look at the security on Coinbase, and they realize that it
Mm.
should be fine for the most part,
Yeah.
and they will end up profitable, because that's kind of how this works.
So, Bob, would you be more likely to put your money in an exchange that had an insurance policy on a certain percent of its coins?
Oh, definitely. Like if KuCoin gets one and that's like 100% covered, and Binance doesn't,
Mm-hmm.
then it really makes you start to question what Binance is doing, especially because they're making millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of unreasonable for them not to at least do that once another exchange has gotten it. And I think that's kind of another reason why competition is good in this market,
Mm-hmm.
because some people are going to try to do certain things to become outliers.
Mm. Yeah, and it seems like setting yourself apart from the competition is pretty important in this game, and whether or not you have all the hottest coins as well. But as all this develops, it'll be more and more attractive for these companies to get some sort of insurance policy to make people sleep better at night.
For sure. Well, even with CoinCheck, when you saw that they were getting everybody who got involved with the hack are getting reimbursed for 80%,
Mm-hmm.
like that makes me respect CoinCheck, and I'm more comfortable putting money on their platform because of that.
Yeah, yeah, it does show sort of an honest, like it's a more honest take on it. If they're the ones that messed up and they come forward, then it's definitely a good thing for everybody, and it makes other people see that and respect them more. But the companies that like BitGrail, who don't have this and just take the money and tell everybody to go F themselves, these people just kind of go under the radar and hopefully never come back. But yeah, like I wonder what happened to a lot of the Mt. Gox people, like what they're doing now.
Oh, they're still in it. You can't leave this.
But nobody's gonna invest money with them anymore.
With Mt. Gox, or do you mean BitGrail? Oh, you mean the people running
Yeah,
Mt. Gox? Oh, yeah.
like
Yeah, I imagine that they're on some different teams kind of spread out. I imagine they're not all, wait, why don't we just make another exchange?
yeah. Well, hopefully not. Anyway, that's all we got for you today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and let us know what you think about the BitGrail situation or crypto insurance. And Rob is clearly an expert in the area, so he can answer any questions you have on insurance or insurance-related products.
I do have fun with insurance. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at TalkChainPod, as well as share it on Reddit, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you want.
Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you next time.
Take care.